engaging celebrity interviews, exciting updates from Christian filmmakers, movie reviews so you can choose your movies wisely, and so much more here on Faith on Film with Isaac Hernandez and Holly McClure.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Faith on Film. Holly, I am so excited about today's show because we've got a very special guest.
We do. I'm very excited to have our guest. Tell them all about him.
Kevin Downs is a writer, producer, director, and co-founder and chief of production and distribution at Kingdom Story Company.
Yes, and he's also an actor who I know you've seen in over 31 films. I can only imagine. Courageous, Faith on Film, Faith of Our Fathers, and so many others. And you know what? We are going to see a trailer of a movie he's now producing, and it's called Ordinary Angels. And we're excited to introduce you to it. Let's take a look at the trailer.
My name is Sharon, and I'm an alcoholic with a splitting headache.
My advice, find a reason to be here that's bigger than you are.
I read about this family in the paper. I think this is it.
And we have a situation. I want to look pretty for mommy.
Well, maybe just a little off the cheeks. God is here with us right now, and we are here with you.
Something about that little girl without a mama, sick, and the family's bled dry from all the hospital bills. I think I'm supposed to help. Hi, Sharon.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to come by and give you this.
I just made dinner if you want to stay.
Would love to.
What are you doing? I met this woman. She's a mess.
Perfect. She'll fit right in.
$400,000 plus in medical bills. All 3 credit cards maxed out. And your income's only $3,600 a month.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not good, Ed.
No, ma'am.
I'm gonna put together a press kit for corporate donations, that kind of thing. Smile. Girls, help your daddy out. I've owned 4 small businesses. I'm good at plenty of things. Taking no for an answer ain't one of them.
Daddy's in over his head.
You're asking us to reduce the family's medical bills due to hardship.
No, I'm asking you to erase them. All of them. Was that funny?
My belly hurts.
Oh, you want to go on an adventure?
Michelle will need to fly 700 miles to the Children's Hospital.
Are you telling me we need a plane now?
How exactly do you recommend we get a plane, Doc?
I'll get you a plane, I promise.
We are going to save this girl, you hear me?
We're going to need a lot of shovels.
This is our last chance. If we don't take it, Michelle dies.
How did it become your responsibility to save her? Because I'm here. Because I can.
Kevin, welcome to Faith on Film, and we're so excited to have you here. Holly and I, of course, have known you for many years, so it's such a thrill.
We are. Good friends for a long time, but good to have you on talking about an amazing movie, right?
It's good to be here. How are you guys?
Oh, we're just enjoying this, and we love seeing the films, especially what Kingdom Story is doing. These films come along that everyone, we're going, gosh, we love this film. We love this film. And this is another one, Ordinary Angels. Oh my gosh, based on a true story.
I'm sorry to disappoint you guys. Like we give you films that you like.
Jesus, revelation. I mean, we've been reviewing your movies and praising all these movies for months and months. So thank you. It's been fun. So working on Ordinary, why'd you guys decide to do this movie? Because it's based on a true story, right? But what compelled you guys to say, yeah, let's do this one?
You know, this one has a very interesting backstory. Kingdom Story Company, we're under a first look deal at Lionsgate. And usually, as you guys are well aware, that means we pitch things to Lionsgate and they say yes sometimes and they say no sometimes. And so with Ordinary Angels, this was a movie they pitched to us. And that was the origin of it. And we actually said no a couple of times because we were kind of confused why a studio was pitching us a story to make. But how the story came to existence we realized, okay, God must be in this, because there were things that seemed coincidental that weren't coincidental at all. And so I'll start with the origin of it, which about 10 years ago or so, one of my producing partners on the film, a gentleman by the name of John Berg. John's got incredible credits. His first movie ever was a little movie called Elf that he produced. Tiny little movie.
Love that movie.
Every year.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, John, first movie Elf. Yeah, you just really failed out of the box. So way to go. That was not true. Elf's an incredible film. And so John found himself eventually as the co-president of production at Warner Brothers. And so he, knowing that the studio system is a game of musical chairs, was very astute to realize, he wouldn't be in this position, forever. And so he asked his assistant one day, he goes, hey, if you were to meet anybody in the world, who would it be? And let's see if we can just get a meeting just for fun. And he's thinking she'll say some actor. And she says, I'd like to meet Dave Matthews. And he goes, the singer? And she goes, yeah, Dave Matthews. I love his music. And he goes, okay, let's call Dave Matthews, see if he wants to come in. And so they called Dave Matthews, and Dave took the meeting, and he came in. And, John's thinking it's going to be a meet and greet and pictures and whatnot. Well, Dave Matthews had a different idea. He pitched this story. That's what Dave Matthews pitched. And so Dave had come across this story, whether he saw it on the news media or whatnot, and figured out how to get the rights to it and pitched this story to John. It wasn't right for Warner Brothers, but John then turned around and pitched it to a good friend of his. They started together at the same small little company, a gentleman by the name of Nathan Kahane. And Nathan is president at Lionsgate at the Motion Picture Group. And so Nathan fell in love with it and is like, okay, we got to figure out how to develop this movie. And so they took it on as a development project. And, a little bit time later, this little movie called I Can Only Imagine came along, which John and Andy made, and led to signing a deal at Lionsgate. And so, it wasn't long after we signed the deal that they pitched us this story because they were so passionate about it. So when the pandemic struck, we found ourselves being pitched again. And then we decided to go, okay, let's look into this thing a little bit more. And when we saw what the story was, that it was one of the central sort of characters of it was this church, Southeast Christian Church in Louisville, Kentucky. We're like, wait a minute.
Wow.
Wait a minute. Our chairman is like an elder at this church. And we know Dave Stone. Dave's a friend of ours. This is crazy. And so we called, before we said yes, we called Dave and said, is this true? Is this story true? And he goes, yeah, no, that story is totally true. And
he didn't to tell you about that before being friends?
No, we didn't know. We had no idea. And so, and then even our chairman, Tony Young, who goes to the church, is his home church, he's like, yeah, no, I remember it. But it was just so weird how it circled and then came back and took this long journey, eventually coming back to us. And so John Gunn, who directed the film, he goes, you know what, I've got a take on this story. Let me write a script and write a version of this at least. Kelly Freeman Craig had a script and did a wonderful job, and then John did some revisions to it. And it was like, okay, this is a movie. This is actually a movie that could be really timely, especially coming out of a pandemic where we all need hope, and we all want an example of a story where we're helping other human beings out to lift people up. Because isn't that what the gospel is all about? To be the hands and feet of Jesus. And that's exactly what this story is. And so love it for that. And so then it was about casting and getting the right cast. And when Swank said yes, we're like, wait a minute. did she say yes? She literally said yes to us.
Oh my
It's crazy. And then Alan Ritchson signed on, and he had just wrapped season 1 of Reacher, which was obviously a huge hit. But then since then, he has exploded. And this man is everywhere. And so we really got fortunate here. We got 2 big stars in our movie that's coming out here February 23rd in theaters everywhere. How about that?
I love it, and I love the whole backstory to it, and the fact that Hilary jumped on it. I feel like this is her Blind Side, like what Blind Side was for Sandra Bullock. This is what it is for Hilary, because she has that whole different kind of character that you just don't really picture her doing, and she pulled it off beautifully. And so I can see why she kind of jumped on this one. Did Alan and Hilary have to have any kind of a faith background for you to cast them, or is that not how you guys cast for your movies and opera? I'm just curious, because obviously you're dealing with a faith subject,
Yeah. So for Hilary, what led us to her is I stumbled upon an article that I read online that she shared how her father underwent a lung transplant, and her father, being a devout Christian, she decided to really start to care for her father after his lung transplant. That really touched me. I'm like, you know what? And the main theme of our film, one of the main themes, it deals with organ transplants. And I'm like, this might just resonate with her. And so I called John Gunn, and he's like, you know what? I was thinking the same thing. Why don't I write a letter and we'll just submit the script and hopefully she reads it. And she did. And it was exactly why she said yes. It was the organ transplant. It meant so much to her and her father and her father's faith. Just being able to do something that in her mind honored her dad for the journey that he lived on. For Alan is like a absolute on fire Christian. He's very open about his faith. You can find, he does this thing called Insta Church where he does on YouTube. He'll do like Sunday church, and he's just totally on fire. I think he was on last week. I had him and Jonathan Rumi on our prayer cast, and Alan kind of showed up as a surprise, but he gave his testimony. The real Dave Stone. And I asked him some amazing questions about his faith walk and his journey, and Alan pulled no punches and was very transparent, and loved the man. What I love so much about him is, he plays Reacher, this guy, this huge man, this bruiser, and he's a big man. I'll say that. We actually asked him, Gunn asked him to lose like 20 pounds of muscle for this movie so that he just wasn't looking like the Incredible Hulk. And so
he had to gain back to do Reacher too. So
I know, and he had to gain it back to do Fast 10, which he flew from our set to Rome literally the next day.
Oh no!
To start work on Fast 10. So halfway through our production is when he got cast for Fast 10, and he actually had to start bulking up while we were shooting. No. So there's certain movies or there's certain scenes in our film where Alan just continues to get bigger and bigger. It's kind of funny.
God made him stronger.
Yeah.
Kevin,
but what I love about him is he is the most gentle spirit. He, inside that huge hulking man is this sweet, soft spirit of a human being that just loves people, loves Jesus with all of his heart. And so, on set, I'm like, man, we got to introduce you to the world here. Because people know who you are as a man, first and foremost. They're going to love your acting, but they're going to love who you are as a man. So the fact that he has joined us now on 2 Prayercast calls, Zooms, and people have gotten to kind of meet him for a minute and who he is has been really special.
Kevin, do you find that maybe it's no longer as much of a career killer for these Hollywood, big superstars to be a part of a faith-oriented type movie? Because I know in the past, man, they wouldn't want to do anything.
That's right.
Is that changing a little bit?
Yeah, you guys have been around that where it was like taboo to touch some of these faith-based stories. And so, a great thing last night, we're into our free media campaign, and Hilary was on The Tonight Show. And so I watched it, and she was great. And so it's like, Jimmy Fallon had no problem promoting it and talking about it, and she had no problem, like it was just some big Hollywood mainstream movie that is like anything else. But yet what's wonderful about it is here is a movie that is central to our faith and to our values and a true life story. And it's competing on a level as far as gaining actor attention and notoriety on a level of any other story, but yet it is centrally rooted in our faith and our values. So, and that's been the dream, right? It's been the dream for 20 years.
Of course, yeah.
And now here we are, and it's happening. And in fact, for, this is a small thing, but for us nerds behind the scene, we kind of celebrate the wins. If we get on a late night talk show, it's like a huge thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. So Hilary was on last night, and then Alan is on tomorrow night on the same show. And so,
oh my gosh.
And so that's forget about getting one hit, but the fact you get both of your actors on separate nights is pretty special. It just shows you how strong they are as actors, as well as the movie itself. And so I'm going to look forward to this next week leading up to the opening and just having them. They're so proud of the movie. So as you guys know, it's tough to get talent to want to really their full force behind, especially if you're dealing with faith-based issues and themes. They're so proud of it, and so they are going shouting this movie from the rooftops. So that's going to be a joy and a treat to be able to watch.
And I think too, the fact that you have a little girl in here and this disease, and then people working around to make, and not only for her disease to get that better and to contribute to that, but for the miracle that had to happen. And who doesn't today want a miracle? I mean, you meet more and more people, you hear more and more people saying they're so depressed with the world the way it is and downtrodden, and no one helps other people. So whenever you have people do help others, it's a big deal. It's a big story. So this is perfect timing, Kevin.
Yeah, no, and again, all of it true. Actually, what's funny is in the true life story, some of the things that you always hear stories where, filmmakers had to embellish to make things a little bit more extraordinary. In the true life story, we actually had to dial some things back, which is really rare because it was so extraordinary what Sharon Stevens did, and Sharon is who Hilary Swank plays. That we were like, okay, this is unbelievable what she did, and so let's kind of pull it back a little bit, so it's not so extraordinary that it pulls people out of the movie.
Wow.
And when you have that kind of source material to kind of glean from, you're like, okay, this is going to be something special. So, look, it's timing is everything in telling these stories, and just feel like the timing is right. For this one. Certainly when we came out with Jesus Revolution, I mean, you look at the timing of the release of that.
Yes.
People accused us of planning revivals at college universities. I'm like, first of all, we're not that smart.
Second of all, you don't have that kind of control over God.
Can you imagine?
We were getting accused of starting revivals. I said, first of all, if we're going to be accused of anything, I'll take that.
Yeah, so exactly.
But we're definitely not that smart. So the fact that it happens, it just shows that God's timing is on it, and we're trying to honor Him with the stories that we're telling. As you guys know, Kingdom Story Company is showcasing the power of the gospel through true life stories. That's what our mission is. Although we do veer away from that next Christmas when we do Best Christmas Pageant Ever, but that's a whole nother topic of conversation. And but it's exciting. It's exciting to have.
Too bad you have an automatic audience with Dallas Jenkins movie.
Yeah, we have that. We have that, and the book is huge. I mean, that book has sold so many units. The story is so compelling. We just wrapped filming like a week and a half ago, and the performances are out of this world. It's going to be fun to talk about that in November with the cast that we got with Judy Greer and Pete Holmes, and then Lauren Graham.
Yeah,
Lauren Graham, who everybody loves. Oh my goodness, it's going to be fun, and the kids are outstanding. So now we got a full slate, full lineup this year. So it's a lot of fun to do this.
Wow. I was on Politically Incorrect with Lauren Graham years ago. She's wonderful. She's a fun person.
She's very fun. Yes, sweetheart. Yeah, she was really great. We hope to do some more stuff with her in the future. She was just really sweet and lovely to work with.
And then you have another movie coming out.
I know, Unsung Hero, which comes out April 26th. Never done this before, where we've had two. Actually, I don't even think we've ever released two in a year. And now we've got 2 in 2 months and 5 in a calendar, or 4 in a calendar year and 5 in a 12-month period, which is absolutely unbelievable. But Unsung Hero is so good. So good. It's one of my favorite movies that we've helped put out into the universe. The Small Bones have knocked it out of the park. Every time I watch it, I cry my eyes out. I laugh. I mean, it's just a journey that you want to take over and over. Obviously, their faith journey is at the central of this entire story. And so people are going to love it. And people are, I mean, we're doing pre-release screenings right now and just standing ovations all over the place. It's one of those I can only imagine type of feel-good story.
It is definitely one of those. And to have the kid that grew up play the father, oh my gosh. Yeah.
I know, Joel does great. I mean, at first, I showed up on set for a day. I have a little cameo in it. And so Joel was directing me, and then I'm looking at him playing his dad. I'm like, dude, you're freaking me out right now. Like, I don't understand.
I know.
Like, you're playing your dad. That's really strange. And then there's an actress here that looks just like your sister, Rebecca St. James.
Yes.
I don't understand. Like, this is really weird. This whole thing is really weird, but they really pulled it off. They did such a great job on the film. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. Unsung Hero, April 26th, theaters everywhere.
We will definitely see that too. And that again, we were going to ask about that kingdom story. That just shows how God is working on behalf of you and the brother and brothers, and how you guys have came together with this dream. And really, it's even gone further, I think, than what you got to have this many good movies released. You usually have a good one, and then there's a couple of misses, and then you have a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? That's pretty much what happens.
No misses here.
No, I know. I'm like, okay. We kind of, Andy and I kind of laugh about it. We're like, okay, let's see. We got 5. If just one of them works, that'll be good. I mean, no, here's the thing. You know what's funny is no matter what, even though we have this volume, the fear of the independent film producer always exists. It never goes away, meaning we're nervous about our films releasing all the way up till the night before. And people think like, oh, you got Lionsgate, you got this, like you're set, you got it made. I'm like, man, no, we work just as hard as we did on I Can Only Imagine, and before that on the smaller films, and we are nervous just as much.
yes, and with good reason. I'm going to go back in history a little bit, because I remember when you were the producers on The Visitation with Edward Furlong. Remember that?
Way back.
Way back. The Visitation. The fun story about that. We did that movie for like $2.5 million. I shot it on 35 millimeter, which I couldn't even tell you how to do that in today's climate.
No.
But what a great, I love some of the early films, because what they show is that it can be done. Like it has to start somewhere, right? Like this whole movement of movies that are centered in faith, being in theaters, released by major studios, has to start somewhere. Like, this doesn't start overnight out of thin air.
No.
And some of those early trailblazing movies, some of them were good, some of them were not good.
The point. You were a trailblazer even then, and you had a vision. And that was when it was not popular to be doing faith films. It was you wasn't seeing Edward on,
It was taboo.
But you were fighting a harder battle even back then, because they weren't going to have them on the late night talk shows,
And now they were like, can you guys change like the name of your movie? Can you change your production company? Can we just change the title? Can we change everything so that I can and maybe I should change my name. Like, it was just so not appropriate to be in a faith movie. But
so
now it's
yeah,
and it was actually
for your name,
It was actually a little tougher for you when you guys were starting because film was actually more expensive than what people can make their movies with today. I mean, I'm familiar with a movie that literally they did for $250,000 and they made almost over $10 million. So the cost of entry is much lower now than it was before.
It's mind-blowing to me that we got anything made back then, especially because there was no digital. I mean, it was like we were shooting movies on shoestrings that you had to shoot on film, and because there was no other outlet to be able to do it. And so now, I mean, you could literally shoot a movie on your iPhone if you got creative enough, and edit it, and it's incredible. And so it's it's a fun time to be able to look back on that period and to see how far we've come.
Yeah.
And the older I get, the more I want to encourage younger filmmakers. Like, hopefully they don't get so complacent because it is so easy that they don't have to work so hard for it, right? But man, if you believe in something big enough, you got to be able to suffer through the failures to be able to find the successes down the road, and that's just the way it works.
Yeah.
And I tell people, I'm like, look, Lionsgate didn't just hand us a deal; we had to actually go out and prove it. And we proved it with I Can Only Imagine. We had to go raise all the money for that film. Nobody would take meetings with us. I mean, we were just as taboo as anything else. And then all of a sudden the movie worked, and then everybody wants to do business with you. And it's the same today. I mean, if I didn't have a hit and this is what my life's calling was, what the Lord wanted me to do, that'd be the advice I would give. Go raise the money, find your story, and tell it with excellence, and then find an audience.
I love that. Oh, Kevin, thank you. This has been such a great interview, and I love to be able to go back and talk about from the beginning to the end, because you're right, it inspires other filmmakers today that it's not going to just be given to you, that, you go in there and prove yourself, especially in this industry. It's a competitive.
It's a hard one to crack. No, this has been great. This has been like a high school reunion.
It has, yeah. Especially since I was with you on the visitation. I remember that set. It was fun. It was fun going back and doing that. Listen, you've got to come to Capernaum Studios. I want you to come see what we've got. We've got the LED wall and all fun things. And just excited to have you on, Kevin. Congratulations for this movie. We're going to support you in any way we can, especially Ordinary Angels, Unsung Heroes, and all the other ones you've got. Thank you. Thank you,
guys.
And we're probably going to have you back several times because you have so many movies coming out. So we'll have to have you on not just once or twice.
We want you on for the Christmas one. We want you on for the Christmas pageant, okay? Promise.
No doubt. We will definitely make it happen.
All right.
God bless.
All right. God bless you guys.
I just love him. What a great interview. I wanted to go longer, didn't you?
I sure did. But that's okay, because we're going to have him on several more times, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Isaac, I am so proud of the fact that we can sit here and support a filmmaker, a producer, an actor, someone who's been in the business since the 90s and has really, like he said, gone from struggling to even get a faith-based movie made and gone through the ropes. And now he said he can speak to younger filmmakers and people about what it takes to get in this business, and don't take it for granted, and it is hard work. But more even than that, aren't we excited that we've got some films that we can be proud of to promote that are competing with the Hollywood movies in the box office, right? I mean, we're not going to have a little Christian film. No, it's competing with the big ones.
It's a very special time, I think, right now that these opportunities are coming to us.
Absolutely. So we're excited for you to, go see this movie and support it. We hope you will. And thank you for supporting Faith on Film.
Amen. And that's the end of our show today. So we'll see you next week.
Write to us at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Faith on Film TV. Also, go to our YouTube channel, Faith on Film TV, and hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications on our latest Faith on Film shows.